Hello and welcome to Midnight Scribe's Creative Vibes, where we speak to the best of the bronies and discover what makes them tick. You know, I am feeling in a really funky mood right now, people. I need a guest who has sass, charm, and really want to zigga zigga. Now, there are two things I like about that wee Spice Girls reference. One, I just really like Wannabe. Don't criticise me, I like my pop music. Also, I've just realised that our guest was born in 2000, the Spice Girls split up that year, and I don't think they know who the Spice Girls are. So why don't I just make a joke about Bananarama while I'm here? I would, but I think I'd probably slip up with the punchline. Okay, right, forget the references and bad puns, let's get on with the show. Now, my guest tonight has a lot going for them. They're an artist in the MLP and Doctor Who fandoms, an avid Tumblr user, and an up-and-coming talent in the community who's making their debut appearance here on Creative Vibes. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to DoctorSiggy. Ziggy, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
That's good. I'm glad to see you're doing all right. Hopefully you're not feeling too nervous about this interview. I know this is your first. You feeling nice and calm?
I'm excited, actually.
And excited is actually even better than calm. Excited is fantastic. We like people to be excited on the show and to enjoy themselves. And we've got loads of great questions coming up. So just be excited, be relaxed. Do not worry. You will have a great time here, I hope. Fingers crossed, touch wood, anything else, roll the dice, etc., etc., etc. Well, fans of the show, of Creative Vibes, know that I love nothing more than to state the obvious at any given point. I can't draw. I really can't. So I'm always intrigued by how, I know, I'm not talented as an artist, but I'm talented in other areas, you know. I've got a voice for radio, and I also have a face for radio. So I'm perfectly suited for Creative Vibes, so don't worry, I'm no sympathy needed for me. But I'm always intrigued by how artists go about their work. Like, you know, some use digital programs, some use the trusty pencil and paper. How do you go about making a piece of art?
How my art works? I'm not sure, actually. I just sort of draw, and it happens. The magics.
It's a magical piece.
Yes. I often get asked, it's like, hey, can you teach me how to draw? And I get confused because I don't know how to teach, and even I don't know how I draw.
So do you just kind of do it as it comes along then? Like, it isn't like you've charted a course. You just kind of do odds and ends and just see how it all comes together.
Yes.
So how did you come to do art in the first place? Like, have you been doing this long?
I've only started digital art and started getting really good in 2013. So not too terribly long. I used to use a lot of MS Paint.
Oh, we've all got to start somewhere. I mean, MS Paint is like, you know, like when I was in primary school, that was the program for, you know, just doing your little doodles and all the rest of it. Having said that, I'm 23, I still use MS Paint, so it shows you how far I've progressed. But yeah, I mean, obviously you've done MLP art pieces and so on, and I know that from what I've heard on the scene, as it were, that you've also done artwork for the Doctor Who fandom.
Yes, I do an awful lot of it. Doctor Who and ponies, but yeah. I just love drawing Doctor Who and ponies and really long scarves.
Well, I did hear in the grapevine that apparently you're also the Fourth Doctor. I mean, can you elaborate on that a wee bit?
Oh, I'm a cosplayer and I have a sort of Fourth Doctor sort of thing going on. I'm also recently started doing a Ask blog on Tumblr. I'm sort of new to the Ask blog thing, and so it sounds kind of fun. I'm not the best at much, but it's definitely a start.
Oh, we've all got to start somewhere. I mean, no one starts off absolutely brilliantly. I mean, but you mentioned that you do cosplay. I mean, and you cosplay as the Fourth Doctor.
Yes, I do.
Right, firstly, that is awesome. I'm just getting that out of the way. But secondly, I've got to ask, because obviously I don't particularly cosplay, you know, I've seen lots of people do it and all the rest of it. I mean,
I do it quite a bit. There's several events here in Belize that it actually gives me a chance to do that. One of them is called Art in the Park. I've actually hugged someone once, which was great.
Oh, I've heard that these events like this, like Comic Con and Brony Scott and all the rest of it, and anything where it has this sort of creative element, like the people there are always absolutely fantastic. I mean, when you go there and you're cosplaying as the Fourth Doctor, is it always quite a good reaction then?
Not always, considering there's not many people in Belize that have actually heard of Classic Who. I mean, sure, if I were dressed as David Tennant, they would.
Don't appreciate the classics, do they?
The good few that actually notice it is always exciting.
And so, does any of this, like I've heard recently, you've done an Ask blog on Tumblr. Like, is any of this related to? Is this related to your artwork, or is this a totally different project?
It is related to some of my artwork. It actually hasn't started up yet because I have someone else doing all the story arcs for me, and he's not quite finished writing. Actually, we're not quite sure exactly what all is going to happen yet. We're sort of planning as we go along because we also are looking forward to a lot of people asking questions before we actually get into the good stuff.
Ah, yes, you want a nice hotbed of questions and hype before you actually go into the storyline and see where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I tell you, we'll be looking forward to seeing how that goes out and this blog starts, because, I've interviewed a few people that have done them, and they've been quite far along. It's interesting to see what the kind of introductory thoughts are in terms of designing an Ask blog, in terms of how you're wanting to be quite freeform about it, and not necessarily you have a bit of a plan, but, you want to kind of get the ball rolling before you actually start. Now, obviously, you and I, we're here on the show together because we're fans of My Little Pony and the show and the fandom that come around it. So I've got a couple of questions just about this particular fandom itself, just to kind of learn a little bit more about you, shall we say. And the first thing I've got to ask is, what's your favourite pony?
Oh, that's a good question. I'd actually have to say is the Doctor Who's, yes. I've actually got a plush of him sitting Doctor Who's.
Oh, I tell you what, our producer's going to be absolutely ecstatic with that choice, because I think that's her favourite as well. Doctor Who's for the win, for sure. So I'm guessing then that your favourite episode of the show might potentially be one with Doctor Who's in it?
Yes, I actually quite enjoyed the 100th episode. I remember when it was first announced and I was just squealing in my usual fangirl nonsense in my bedroom, staring at the post, going, oh my gosh.
Definitely. I mean, I've heard lots of great things about the 100th episodes, and it seems that, the hype train was in full speed for that one.
Oh yeah, definitely for me as well.
So, how did you become a fan of the My Little Pony show?
How did I become a fan? When I lived in the United States, I had a friend named Gabriel. He'd actually walked up to me one day and said, I know this might seem kind of weird, but don't make fun of me on this. I started watching My Little Pony recently. I'm like, oh, the new one that came out on the Hub. And he's like, yeah, I was wondering if you'd be willing to get into watching it. And I just sort of rolled my eyes, like, well, it's My Little Pony. Why would I want to do that? He laughed at me and said, just watch an episode. I'm like, okay. So, of course, I got home that night, and I went on the internet and pulled up the first episode from the first website I could find, which was amazingly YouTube. And I watched it, and I guess I just sort of fell in love with it.
I can totally identify with the story of people, because of friends, family, partners, whatever else, liking the show, and then deciding just to watch an episode or two with a bit of skepticism before you know it. They're hooked because they've just been watching it on YouTube and just binging through it. I mean, same with myself. I mean, that was what I was like. Like, before I knew, I'd gone through seasons 1 and 2, wondering where on earth my time had gone. Now, of course, I mean, that's the magic of the My Little Pony show, but of course, that transitions to the fandom as well, because of all the great people that are there, including yourself and I, and our producer, and everyone else we've interviewed. How did you come to join the fandom after watching the show?
Okay, how I became part of the fandom. Okay, so after I had actually finished watching the first season of My Little Pony and I was getting ready to start the second season, the same friend had actually introduced me to Cloudesdale.org, rest in pieces. It had sadly shut down earlier this year. So I really do miss it because that's where I first got into fandom. So yeah, I just got on there, and I actually had through there I met one of my good friends. At the time, they had gone by the name Minty, which was their pony OC at that time. But I suppose thanks to them, I probably wouldn't be drawing My Little Pony stuff today.
Oh yeah, well, there's one thing that I find quite interesting, particularly about yourself, is the fact that obviously kind of one of the unusual things about the Friendship is Magic show is the fact that it's actually gotten quite an older audience. Like, I'm 23, I'm ancient as far as the show's creators are concerned, whereas you're 15 and you're a bit younger and a bit closer towards where the show is meant to be aimed at.
Actually, I kind of like the fandom because there's a lot of people like me as well as older people. For example, my brother, he's actually 24 and his favorite pony is Twilight.
Oh, nice one. And someone older than me. Yes!
By 1 year.
1 year makes all the difference. So how does the MLP fandom compare to the Doctor Who fandom?
I don't know. I like both of the fandoms pretty much equally. Because thankfully quite a bit of it actually goes into each other. Like, for example, Doctor Who's, and of course, I'm really into Doctor Who's, as well as there's Who's and stuff. I follow a lot of blogs based on that as well on Tumblr, so I'm really into it. So as for differences, like how they are compared to each other, I'm not really sure because I just love them both. I just love them both so much.
Well, you don't have to pick a favourite. I mean, it is, I know what it's like when you've got somebody as vibrant and creative as Doctor Who and MLP, and dare I say, actually, I'll have to mention Steven's Universe because that's coming up more and more in these interviews. But never wrong with that at all. I mean, that's one of the great things about excellent shows like them is the fact that the fandoms that come out of it are just so creative and fun. It allows you to meet people who are similar to each other. Like you've met loads of great people doing your art, and I've met loads of great people as well. I mean, it's a fantastic community. I mean, that's my 2 cents on it. Now, I've heard that you've actually got diverse taste in music, and I've heard that you quite like electronic music, rock music, and classical tracks as well. What artists would you take as your desert island discs?
Ooh. I'm not sure. I'd probably end up getting stuck with some electronic music because there's such a rather wide variety of them. I'd have to say would be my favorite artist to take with me on a desert island would be Cell Dweller.
Yes, Cell Dweller. Deanne introduced me to him the other week, and I've slowly been getting into his music. He does seem to, he's been making a big name for himself recently. He's got a lot of fans. Yes,
he does.
I mean, he did a remix of the Imperial March from Star Wars. That has me sold. That's all I need to hear. But I do have a question for you. One final question. Now, well, actually, 2 final questions, actually. You are an expert at drawing poofy hair on humans, ponies, the whole 9 yards. Now, you might be one of the few artists out there who could do justice to my luxurious mane. Now, how would I, or heck, how would anyone go about commissioning you?
Most times people would note me on DeviantArt asking me, what are your prices? And I would tell them, I'd ask that people send me what they would like me to draw, and I would estimate the price from there.
And so where can we find you on the web then, if we want to commission you or have a look at your Tumblr blogs and all the rest of it?
Oh, where I can be found on the web. I go about my DeviantArt. Sometimes I used to use Facebook. I haven't been posting on there very much because I'm not the biggest fan of Facebook, but I'm also on Twitter.
Well, don't worry, what we'll do is we'll take all your links and we'll put them in the description below, so anyone, if you want to commission DoctorSiggy, want to see what they're doing, that's all their cool stuff there. But I tell you what, we're going to have to wrap up the show there. My thanks to DoctorSiggy for coming on the show today. My thanks to you guys for watching the show. Right, you can find us on Facebook at Highland Bronies. You can also find us on YouTube at the Highland Bronies channel, where you're watching this video right now. We also have our email contact, where you can get in contact with us, and if you've got any comments about the show, be a part of the show, so get in touch with us. We will love to hear all your comments. But we've got to wrap up the show just now, and the last word from Midnight Scribe is, please subscribe.